Greetings, YouTube. I love Ultron. Despite the fact that he was nerfed in patch 12.0 and he, in general, hits like a wet noodle, as so many of you remind me, he still is somebody that has, for a long time, had more than the double utility of, say, poison and bleed immunity, plus regen, and, yeah, the crits aren't very good. But now he's got crazy bleed damage, and everything seems exciting. But Malachi 1970, and I felt like this was really important to just show our conversation in full, has reached out to me to say, Prof, we need to talk about the big catch with the Ultron buff. And I'll admit, and you'll see this when I ask him questions, I felt like I wasn't sure he was correct. Because I, believe it or not, do not want to rush to condemn kabam on things that are supposed to be positive. I don't want to put out a negative video just for the sake of clicks. So I wasn't really sure he was correct. And so I kind of went back and forth, and you haven't seen any of this until this messaging. But he did a good job, including using our community's very own Brian Grant, of showing what his point was, and you'll see that in a second. So he starts off by saying, FYI, the Ultron buff has come at a cost. First, the PI is crazy low. Now, I think that's a bug, so that shouldn't be that big of a worry. Second, they nerfed his heal mechanic. So, let's check out what he meant in the original message. So, this is pre-buff Ultron. Once per fight, when dropping below 50% health, Ultron activates self-repair, recovering 6,531 health over 10 seconds, and if stunned during this self-repair, Ultron loses connection and the repair stops. Now keep in mind, in his abilities before the buff, there were separate paragraphs for the 50% health and 25% health. So it basically said the same exact thing, only replaced the 50% health with 25% health in the second line. Once per fight, when dropping below 25% health, Ultron activates self-repair, recovering, in this case, 6,531.75 health over 10 seconds. If stunned during his self-repair, Ultron loses connection and the repair stops. So in the old abilities, he could, in theory, do the healing not once but twice in a single fight. This was, of course, especially valuable in Alliance Quest and Alliance War, etc. Well, that was the old abilities, old heal wording. Now let's check out the new heal wording. You can see that the old wording was two separate lines or two separate paragraphs, to just be succinct with it. The new one has combined the 50 and 25 into one paragraph, saying that once per fight, so again, not twice per fight, but once per fight, gain a self-repair buff healing 6,531.75, the same health as the previous non-buffed Ultron over 10 seconds. If stunned while self-repair is active, connection is lost and the self-repair is removed. So, if you're wondering what the heck the deal is, it was technically possible versus the wording of the pre-buffed Ultron to heal twice in one fight instead of once. Now, personally, I don't know if I did that very much when I used Ultron. It's been a while since I've even used him. So he said, because of the change, he only procs his healing once per fight. Notice how they put it under one paragraph instead of two. This changes his heal ability. Now, just to be completely honest, I was a little skeptical, right? I was like, maybe that's not true. So before, if you started a fight below 50%, it was possible to proc a heal at 25%. It would barely get you above 50%. Once you went below 50%, you would heal again to get around 75%. Now you can't do that. And then he had a minute 29 fight. We're not going to watch this whole fight because I value your time too much, even though I really appreciate the fact that he sent this video. I don't want to be disrespectful to the summoner. I just don't want to milk a video for, ads' sake. That's not what we do on this channel. So you can see that he was at 40%. He's letting himself get hit. He eventually does some evades, gets down to 25%. Proctors that health. We're going to fast forward all the way to 48 seconds, of which case he now allows himself to eventually heal, and looks like that video is frozen, but we are going to exit out. Oh, I guess, excuse me, maybe this is the post buff where he doesn't heal under 50. Regardless, here is one of the many test runs I did to see if I could get 2 regens in one fight. Okay, so that is indeed the case. This is the new buffed June Ultron. Notice how it says processing after the 50% threshold is reached. Also notice how it doesn't give any regen. This is new. This is a nerf to his healing. So it basically pretends with the processing words like you're going to get healing, but then it does nothing. It basically just pretends like it doesn't exist. And so I said, so you're saying before it was possible to get 2 Ultron heals, but now that's never going to happen again. In 1 fight, yes, with the new wording, you can do it over 2 fights if you're down them before you go 50%. I said, I guess I never did it twice in 1 fight before. Is anyone else complaining about this? He said, nope. But of course, that kind of justifies this video in general. And then what he did, which is really smart, and we'll talk about the aforementioned Brian Grant in a second, is he actually brought up a past Brian Grant video. First, he brings up KT1. Shout out to KT1. And how KT mentions it briefly in one of his videos with the Ultron buff. But there's actually a video from Brian Grant called Double Healing with Ultron, which is literally impossible with the new buffed language, given that's a single heal. And yes, that makes a big difference. Now, why would Kabam do this? Of course, it's because they don't want you to regenerate health. They don't want you to save potions and revives and units. They're a profit company. They're a for-profit company. They want to make money off of this. And if you're regenerating health, you can't do that. And they know this, which is why a lot of champions, even if they're suicide friendly, they don't heal like older champions, even like inferior Iron Man or OG Iron Man. So I just want to say I really appreciate Malachi 1970's verbiage on this. Here's an old video of Brian talking about the double heal. You're welcome. I did say thanks for the update. But in general, I'm not saying that Ultron still doesn't have crazy bleed damage now. He has been buffed on offense, but the healing is a huge part of his utility kit, and that has been nerfed. And it's worth talking about, even if it's not the most pleasant thing to talk about. So, thanks again to the Summoner for highlighting all of this. I promised to him I would make a video, and I did just that. I don't normally show the chat and the dialogue on the Line app, but here we are, able to do it and kind of walking you through what I was walked through. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.